Yeah, this review comes at an interesting time. You may or may not have heard that Hyundai have decided to axe the i20N and i30N. So I'll let you know at the end of the video if it's something to be sad about. But out of all the cars I've had on the channel recently, the i20N is actually something I've probably been most excited to drive because there's been such hype and such positivity around it. So I'm really excited to jump in and give this a good old B-Road blast. I'm Max Tavani and welcome to Driven Plus. Now, firstly, we're going to talk about this, the engine. A 1.6 litre four-cylinder unit, 201 horsepower, 275 newton meters of torque. It doesn't need a lot of power. It's a light car, 1,190 kilos, which is 100 kilos lighter than the Fiesta ST. Top speed of this thing, 144 miles per hour. And Hyundai say it'll do 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. Let's see if that's true. Right, so it's time to launch the i20N. Now, it's the first time I've ever launched a manual gearbox, but you have to activate it on the screen. So there we are, active. It's going to hold it at 3,000 RPM. This really will depend on how fast my left side of the body is. Right. Okay, 6.67. Let's try one more. There we go, 6.39 seconds. There was a lot of tyre spin, so on the better conditions, it's like 4 degrees outside. Yeah, it's definitely going to do 6.2, maybe a little bit better, but I'm happy with that. Well done, Hyundai. Back to the review. Now, the exterior look of this car is good. I'm a massive fan of Hyundai N's styling. I like the i30N, I like the i20N, and the Ioniq N. I think that's really smart as well. It's electric though. Anyway, but they're not afraid to make something loud and eccentric, and that's the case with this car. It's turned out really nice and aggressive. You've got the profiles in the bonnet, which is the case on a normal i20 actually. Now you've got the N badge down here, the red carrying on throughout. Now, does anyone know what N stands for actually on the Hyundai? Now, it stands for Namyang, and Namyang is a district in South Korea when the N brand was born, and I suppose you can also say it stands for Nürburgring. And the car, well, this car lapped the Nürburgring in 8 minutes and 34 seconds, which is really impressive. Now, moving on to the side profile. Now, this is a small hatchback in today's society or today's world, and it comes with 5 doors, and you can only get it in 5 doors, and that's one problem, not with just the i20N, but a lot of hatchbacks nowadays, you can only get them 5 door, but I think aesthetically they look much better 3 door. I'll make an example. My M140i, that was a 3 door, and it looks 10 times better than the 5 door. That'll upset a few. But you get 18-inch alloy wheels all around. On the front, they're gripped by 4-pot calipers. It'll be interesting to see how they perform later. On the rear, single piston. And you get this kind of side skirt with the N logo embossed there. Looks really cool. One little niggle is the fit of the fuel cap. Yes, it's not quite right, but other than that, yeah, looks pretty good, doesn't it? Coming to the rear of the car, it's nice and sporty, isn't it? A lot of sharp lines going on, making it aggressive. I like the rear taillights as well. Something I'm not so sure on is the spoiler. Now, I'm all for a spoiler, don't get me wrong, but it just looks a bit unnecessary with these 4 mounting points. Maybe they could have joined it to the top of the boot lid there, perhaps, but I suppose Hyundai, they are a bit different. Now, the red theme carries on throughout the car. You get a nice diffuser as well. Some sort of race light, maybe it's your fog light, but it looks nice. It looks like a proper race light. And you get a single exit exhaust. Now, can the driver please put this in sport mode? Just listen to the valves open up. Please give the car a good old rev. One more. Do you know what that reminds me of? A proper old school hot hatchback. That sounds really good. Thank you, Hyundai. No soft limiter as well. Let's have a look inside the boot. Now, this is one thing which has impressed me the most about this car, is the boot space. It's huge, 352 litres of boot space. Really, really happy. Obviously, put your seats down, you get loads of space. Coming to the inside of the car, sporty touches carry on throughout. I like the steering wheel as well. You've got the N logo on there with your rev limiter and your 2 N buttons, which we'll talk about more on the road because that's really interesting. Now, the overall look and the feel of the car, although it's a small hatchback, does it feel like that? No. I like the seats, they're really comfortable. I like where the armrest is as well. You've got your water bottle here with 2 cup holders down here, and you can also put it in the door bin. They're huge too. Now, let's turn the car on. I'll put the ignition on. And you've got your heated seats, 2 USB sockets. Now, you can put your key down here. Loads of space in here. Now, the screen is actually really, really easy to use. It's quite responsive as well, so I'm happy with that. And the instrument cluster is digital as well. Now, obviously, you've got aggressive styling coming in on the inside as well. A lot of lines going on. Door cars are nice here. And you've got your glove box there. That's a good size too. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get out onto the road. Now, we're going to start the road test off at a very slow pace because if you're planning on buying an I20N, I expect you to be daily in this car. So what's the clutch like and what's the gearbox like? Well, that's slow speed going from first to second. It's super easy, super fluid. You could easily drive this through town, which, you know, it's a small hatchback at the end of the day, and that's what they're designed for. But it's really, really easy to use. Nice low end torque, so you haven't really got to be in the revs to really get it to go in. Turbo kicks in, pulls you along. Yeah, and as we're going up this hill now, it's not struggling at all. Driving at 20 miles per hour in third gear, so the ratios are nice for slow speed driving. Be interesting to see what it's like. Put your foot down later though. Now, Hyundai haven't made a bespoke engine for the i20N. What they've done, they've taken a normal engine from a normal i20N, put a bigger turbo on it, then they've tuned it all up and all the bells and whistles that these manufacturers do. But it's worked. There's a nice grunt to it. And if you go down to second, and we go out through the revs, it gets faster higher up the revs and the car becomes more alive. So therefore it drives like a naturally aspirated car. It's really, really fun. So it's safe to say it's worked. Hyundai have also given this car a limited slip differential. So as you come to a corner here, second gear, now I'm going to accelerate through the corner. That's so fun. Wow, the grip this car generates is unreal. Oh, this gives me a lot of confidence. This is a really well-balanced hot hatchback. This car would be epic on a track. That bleep you've just heard there is all the lane assist thing, which all these new cars have to have. Let's do that again. Drop down second gear. Nice little tight bend. Spin it. Yeah, what a car. Good car. Now look at me, I'm smiling. This is what a hot hatchback should be about. Giving you a thrill, giving you excitement. Yeah, this is... Definitely understand the hype. Good car, Hyundai. Well done. I'm impressed with the brakes as well, and they've been upgraded from the standard i20, which is what you'd expect because it's an i20N. But I'm not just impressed with the performance, I'm impressed with the feedback. If I put my foot on the brake, they perform well, but the general feedback of what they're giving me is good, so I've got confidence. And also it's nice to see that they are metal pedals as well. You don't get them on a BMW M car. But Hyundai have built something special here. They've built something good. They haven't really gone above and beyond. They've just kept to what people like, and that's simplicity. The way it drives, it's an old school type of drive, old school hatchbacks. It's a naturally aspirated feeling engine. Yeah, it's good. And I also like the fact you get 4 cylinders too, because 4 is better than 3, right? When you look at the ST and GI Yaris. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually don't mind the sound of a 3-cylinder. They actually sound really good. But I'm not blown away by this. Just listen. It sounds okay, don't get me wrong, but I'm not blown away. Now, going back before, the sound of the engine has nothing to do with the feel of the engine, and the feel of the engine as I said, is old school. It feels nice, and you just got to have it up in the revs. But the feel's good. Now you do have some different driving modes to choose from. If you press the N button of the left side of the steering wheel, you've got Eco, Normal, and Sport. Sport goes all red, pretty cool. Now the N button on the right side of the steering wheel is a bit like, shall we say, the M1 or M2 buttons on your BMW M car. You can set the car up to how you want it. So if you press that, as you see, you get a different display layout here. You've got how much PSI your turbo's generating, the torque, engine temp, oil temp, good for track. And if you go on the screen, you go on N mode, and you can change all the settings on here. So how much percentage of throttle, go to the next page. There are loads of things to choose from. What setting you want your engine to be in, the steering, the rev matching, ESC, and the exhaust sound. I'll just go down a bit of gear. Yeah, rev matching, it blips it for me. There are some pops and bangs coming now. Pretty impressed with the MPG on this car as well. Yes, it's a 1.6 litre petrol engine, and it's got 200 horsepower, but we're averaging 39 to the gallon. That's really surprised me. That's really good. By the way, it gets 6 gears as well, so it cruises nice on a country road, travelling at 60 miles per hour as well. So we're travelling at 60, and it's sitting just below 2,500 revs. So yeah, the gear ratios is spot on. Happy. But for the price, you can pick one of these up for, on the used market, 21 grand. You can't get them new anymore. We'll come on to that later, tell you my verdict. Why wouldn't you? It's got the credentials to be a really, really fun track car. It's good on the B roads, great round town. Name me something that it isn't good at. And it looks good as well. So driving the car around the little town of Ruthin, you do get a few looks, because one there, as you can see. That's because this car, it does stand out. The colour helps, the fact that it's got, you know, the spoiler, the body kit. So people do look at it. And I don't think people would look at a Fiesta ST or a Mini JCW as much as one of these. So I quite like that. I quite like the fact that people look at your car, because you take pride and you're an enthusiast at the end of the day. So if you plan to buy one, buy the I20N. So at the start of the video, I said to you that I'd let you know my opinion on whether you should be sad that the I20N and I30N are being discontinued. And yes, you should be, because the shift from petrol to electric is happening right in front of our eyes, and this is probably one of the last proper hot hatchbacks you can buy. I want to say that petrol powered. And okay, they've said they're going to concentrate on electric cars. I'm not a fan, although the Ioniq 5N looks good, but electric cars aren't for me. Petrol, it's just sad that if you're thinking of buying one, you're sat there now, just go and do it, because you won't be able to do it anymore. You know, it's a phenomenal car, and Hyundai have created something spectacular, and we should enjoy it whilst we can. And I think you only can buy used anymore. Just go and do it. But I hope you enjoyed our review on the Hyundai i20N today. Want to say a massive thank you to Catherine for loaning us the car. Catherine, you've got a great car, and it's probably one of the best out there. But for anyone watching, please click the subscribe button, because we've got some really good content on the way. And leave a like and comment if you enjoyed it. And I'd like to know your opinion and your say on what, you know, the decision Hyundai's made, and whether you think it's a good one or a bad one, because we've still got 11 years left until the 2035 deadline. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next week. Bye bye.